All right, here we go again. Welcome
Hey
back to the
guys
Life and Leverage podcast.
and ladies,
Randman, yeah, ladies and gents.
yeah,
Randman, how you doing, buddy?
dude, it's a wonderful day here in Florida. What can I tell you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
is it warm?
beautiful,
Is it pretty
beautiful.
warm over there?
It's not warm. It's in the 40s, 50s. Makes you
Is
know
it?
you're alive, right? But it is getting
Yeah,
hot enough that I am going to get rid of this thing,
yeah.
this beard. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How long? How long have you been growing it out for?
4 months. That's about it. It didn't
See, I
take
do
long.
the thing where I'll cut it all the way down to a 5 o'clock, and then just not worry about it. And then once it gets to like here, or it starts to annoy me, then I'll bring it back down
Knock
to
it
a
off.
5 o'clock
Okay.
and let it grow back again.
I just get tired of it, but it is a lot easier to deal with. You don't have to get up and shave every morning.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I
I
I
do
I,
have to
I
trim this.
never like doing that.
I do have to
You
trim it.
what?
I have to trim it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's pretty wild right now. These are about dude.
it is
I
getting
was
pretty thick.
teasing with my wife, right? I was saying, I'm gonna let it grow long enough to where I can put these little twists in it and put a little rubber band in each one of them. She didn't like that
Oh, please,
idea at all.
please do it for the podcast. I think
Oh,
everybody here can
and
agree
then,
that would be
maybe
great.
if I could get it down, just
A little bit longer. I did that one time. I was in
did you really?
college, and
Yeah.
uh, I
I guess
did
going back to my
I
college
shaved
years.
everything else, and then I did a goatee, and just down here I had it going. And I had I was working at this bar at the time, and I loved my manager. We got along great, but she was like, Fabiano, you got to get rid of that thing. She's like, it is terrible. It is absolutely terrible, and I'm not letting you come into my bar looking like that.
Okay, well, there you go. So how you
Yeah,
doing, man? What you been up to since
good
our
man.
last podcast?
Been getting back into working out every day. They closed down my local gym here
What?
in France, in Orleans. Yeah, they had two of them here in my city that I could go to, and then both of them shut down. So what I
Any
did,
reason?
something
Financial? They were they?
yeah, I don't remember
But
what it
healthy.
was. No,
Wasn't
no. It wasn't
COVID.
anything health. It was something to do with finance, I believe. Corinne knew.
It doesn't matter. They're
But
close.
yeah, they're close. They're gone. So what I did is, I have that rowing machine. That's that Nordic Track, not a sponsor. Nordic Track machine back
Not
there.
yet. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Give us a shout if you guys want to. We're down. But I love that machine. It's a great workout. But when I was going to the gym every single day, I was using the elliptical as my main workout besides just weights. So
Yeah.
what I did is the money that I was paying to the gym, I just went and bought a new Nordic Track elliptical machine, put it out on the patio. It's huge. It's called the Space Saver, but that thing doesn't save any space. I can tell you that much. It's enormous, but it's amazing. I love it, and it's getting me back into it. I mean, I'm doing it every day and staying on it. So
That's good, dude. That's good.
it's feeling good, and man, just a clear head. Feel stronger, feel better every day.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I allowed myself to get out of it for a bit there, but I'm
It
happy that
happens, dude.
I'm bringing
Don't
it
beat
back.
yourself up, and you'll get back into it.
What did you do when you were growing up? Besides obviously like actually going to work, because you were doing some of your jobs were like manual labor kind of stuff, but like
Early on
uh
in my career, yeah. But
right.
to stay in shape, I played
Yeah.
tennis like crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I was a pretty good tennis player back in the day, and did that and would run. I didn't like running, but I would run
Yeah.
and lift weights. And
Did you
yeah, I
going to the
was
gym quite a
going
bit?
to the gym. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 days a week. Yeah, I was pretty consistent with it.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a little bit older, I don't go to the gym as much as I should, but I haven't been able to because of my knees.
Right.
I had that stem cell stuff, and initially I thought it was a bunch of crap
Yeah.
because it wasn't working. And it took about 3 months for the stem cells to start working, I guess. And so it's gotten to the point now I don't have to wear my braces, which is really, really cool. So if I get out on the golf
Really?
course, I'm not having to fool with those. I mean, I
Heck yeah.
look like a lineman.
Forrest Gump? Looking at Forrest Gump?
Yeah, Forrest Gump. Both legs had those braces on. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, so I
Yeah.
don't have to wear those anymore. So that's a
That's
good
amazing, man.
And then I recently had the what they call PRP, which is another form of injection. They draw blood down rather than taking that bone marrow. They just draw blood and spin that down and inject that into to the knees, and that's supposed to help with the arthritic type of condition. And so I do that about every 6 months now. So it's a.
But then, did you had to get new stem cell? Like how often do you have to do that part?
I can do. They say you can do it once a year, and it's your own stem cells. There's another school of thought out there that use other type of stem cells, not from your own body. You don't harvest them from your own body. I guess the placentas. That's another form of stem cell that you can take. A lot more expensive than what I did, but yeah. But at any rate, this is better than having knee surgery, pal. Very frustrating. But back to your point, staying healthy. At your age, dude, I pumped iron.
Mandatory.
Yeah, you got to pump iron. I should be pumping more iron now, but I don't want to mess up my golf swing, dude.
Yeah. I'm sure that's
you get too bulky up here, for me anyway. But you look at Bryson DeChambeau, you look at Tiger, David Duval, all of those guys bulked up, and they played really, really, really well. DeChambeau's lost some of that stuff now, but just staying buff. I've never been buff. I've never had a 6-pack. I got a 6-pack in there somewhere, but there's just a lot of fat that's up on top.
You got some. You got a little bit of a like a 12-pack over it.
There you go. But that's the thing. Just staying active, right? Just burning more calories than you consume.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's all every single time it comes back down to it, and I feel like I'm catching on, or I need to try something new. It's just burn less or burn more calories than you take in.
Yeah,
that's it. That's
the
magic.
Stay away from carbs. Carbs are terrible for putting on weight. And I love beer. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Right.
I can't drink it anymore, man. It makes me sick.
Does it really?
I can only do wine. Really. I can do some.
Wine gives me such a headache if I drink too much of it.
Any wine.
The sulfates, I think.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm glad you're back to working out. That's awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Accountability. The other thing is having accountability with someone. Occasionally I would hire a trainer to help me, motivate me.
Yeah. My cousin's really been a big help. I also have another friend that I used to play hockey with, and man, they both they're in the gym at 4:30 every morning. I mean, they're big into it, but they're both they both look fabulous, in the best shape of their lives, and they're both probably 4 years older than me. But still, they look amazing. Dude, so it's just coming down to putting in the time and doing it, right?
Putting in the time and doing it.
It never is going to get easy. It's always going to be a pain in the ass. But
it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass. But you'll get to the point that you actually like working out. It's discipline, dude. It all boils down to discipline.
Exactly.
Everything that we do in life boils down to that. The choices that we make and the discipline in which we adhere to those things. It's amazing. It truly is.
Especially, exactly what we talk about in trading. It's doesn't really matter. You can make huge trades and you can be an amazing trader at making good trades and making money. But if you're not disciplined and you
Lose everything
overdo
you
it,
made. Mhm.
yep, exactly. It
Everything you made.
doesn't matter, right?
Right. Doesn't matter at all.
Yep.
So we got this big event coming up in
Yeah.
April. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to it.
Me too. Vegas,
it's
baby. Let's go.
Vegas. Sin City.
I know that's gonna be fun, and we'll definitely do the live stream
Podcast from there. Yeah.
live podcast in Vegas. That's gonna be fun.
It's gonna
I
be a-
wanted to bring up the last time that we ran that video of the
trade.
Razor's Edge trader and how that worked out. We were in confusion on why it left an order on. For anybody that didn't see it,
pulls back to that point of control. Ideally, what I would be looking for is for a trade all the way down at. Okay, so let's go over to what just happened. I'll come back to that in a second.
right there.
So
is when trade. What we had thought, we were back in kind of time at that point, explaining just how the edges
How a
work.
trade, yeah, how the edges work and how we would take a trade once we got back down to the bottom of that high volume area and also the previous session's low. That would be
Right.
an ideal place. And we were over to the left side of the screen and left on. Here's the thing: you leave on this razor, it's going to look for the trade and take it, and that's what happened. It threw it out there, threw that order out there. So we were.
It took
I was
us
a little
out.
confused.
It took it took us out of the trade that we were in automatically.
That's right.
And it was a winner. It was a good winner. But as we were over on the other side, it came back up to this edge, right where that top line is, and it saw that it was bouncing off of the high volume area, and it input another trade. So
It
where
threw
we
that
thought
order
like,
out
oh,
there.
maybe this is doing a little trailing stuff, or why is this still on? It wasn't. It was just it generated the next trade that would have been valid. Now
Right.
we turned it off, so we don't know if that would have even stayed valid. The
Because
cool thing
we thought
about
it was
that,
an error. We thought it was an error,
Right.
and it was not an error. The program was doing exactly what it had been programmed to do, and that is to take a trade at this edge. That's what it does. That's what the razor does. It takes it at the edge. It does not tell you like this is the second time at that edge, and we have a choice whether or not we take it the second time. And inverse trade, we teach students not to take it the second time. Can you take it the second and third time there? You can. Again, it goes back to that discipline that we were talking about a few minutes ago. And are you disciplined enough to turn it off, even though it may set up for a valid inverse trade?
Mhm.
Now, technically, it's not a valid inverse trade based upon the parameters that we teach. First time there is the only time that you would want to take an inverse trade.
Mhm. But that's why it's an extension of your arm, basically, right? I mean, you still have to have the brains.
Yeah, you have to use
Exactly. You still got to know that.
your ears, right? You still got to know what we're doing.
Yep. There's
All
no
the training
get rich
programs
quick
in the world.
scheme.
Right.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, there's black box programs out there and stuff like that. This is not it. If you're looking for a black box program, this is not it.
Got it.
All right. This is an extension of your arm. You still have to be the brains behind it. It knows the methodology. It'll take it down to the exact parameters of that trade. But I like to explain it like this. In all honesty, call it a downfall if you want, but look, it doesn't know if there's news coming. It doesn't know if there's how many times it's bounced off that line. It doesn't take any of that stuff into consideration. And for a reason, right? There's going to be times that you do want to take that second time there, or you feel like it. And it's not going to, as long as it's valid, it'll still do the work for you. And if it goes against you, it'll take it off and call it an invalid trade and not actually even put it on. So it does all of that stuff, but it doesn't take those other factors into
Consideration. That's right.
consideration when
Right.
it's generating the trades. It's there to execute based off of those parameters. And if you leave it on, it'll do it.
It'll take.
But that's the thing about the way that we trade. Those high volume areas are solid, but as everybody knows, sometimes the markets just stay in that same area, and they'll just go back and forth in that same area as DOB or Dan O'Brien always calls it, the coffin of congestion, right?
Right.
And it's just it'll get into that little coffin of congestion and just bounce back and forth. And if it's a valid trade, as it's bouncing back and forth to the machine, it's gonna execute. It's gonna take it. And yeah, you can get lucky and you can make money, but is that your highest probability trade? No. Should you risk it and leave it on? No. That's not, that's just something that you should know better to do, right? So that's why we teach you how to do this stuff manually. We have the tools to help you execute and do it a lot faster, but
it's so much faster than you can humanly possibly do it. It's sometimes it moves so fast. This will catch those fast moves.
Yep.
Where you may miss it, but you still have to see it. You still have to turn it on. You can't just leave that IA. It's not an artificial intelligence. You can't let this trade assist bot just run, because if you do, you may get lucky and end up with more winning trades than you do losing trades, and it will be profitable. But that's not how you want to trade.
That's right.
Right. So yeah, I'm glad we went over that, because it was confusing. It threw me for a loop. I was like,
it was confusing to us both, man. We both were kind of like, what? Whoa. But I think it brought up a good point, is that the ability to have the bot also be able to trail is an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool to have, and that's why the Pit Viper is fantastic, because it could take that same trade, but it can trail it also.
It can trail it as well. I like, the Pit Viper will take it anywhere. So throw up my screens, okay, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Pit Viper, if we wanted to look at the NASDAQ, okay, and now the market has moved up. Get my drawing tool, see if this thing works.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see where I'm drawing here? Yeah, you can see that. Cool. All right, so the market moves up, okay, and it's turning around here, okay. So we could use what we call in a reversal trade, reversion, not reversal, reversion trade here.
Reversion of the mean, yep.
And then turn around and take it long. So you can use your manually putting your orders on the screen or not, but you can also use Pit Viper. Now, in this particular situation of what we're looking at, let me see if I can make this screen a little bit bigger.
Yep.
So you can see this.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so we really didn't have a big breakaway here. What we would have loved to have seen is just that one move and not that little hitch right there. Move up and then revert back down and give you a small enough bar that you have enough room to run to get back up to this area. That's a reversion trade. And, that's where the Pit Viper can come in handy. It can also come in handy inside of these edges, or once you're outside of the previous range that was traded the day before, then you can look at that. But now we've moved over this far, and now we've run into a brick right here. Now this is a new all-time high for the NASDAQ, 17,892.5. And so we're trending upward. Now the question is, we have another indicator that's on this particular screen. It's called Flow Rider. So Flow Rider's showing that you should go long here. Now, I would have liked to have seen it move up higher actually break through this area, because when you come back up to this area, it was resistance once, resistance twice. Is it going to be resistance again, third time at that area? Don't know. We're not sure what the market's going to do. Ideally, would
Right.
be good for the market to move back here and then take it long. So
Off of that
that's
contract,
off of that
contract high.
contract high, or the HVA edge as well. We could do that. And if I had,
Well, that's actually all-time highs, also, isn't it?
yeah, that's all time high. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 17. I wouldn't be surprised we get up to 18 before the end of the week. Who knows? The markets are just crazy. We can't predict what the market's going to do.
Nope.
Now, technically, this is the first time back at this edge. This is a great time to take a trade. But when you take a trade like this, you're placing your protective stop in an area that has a lot of participation. It's not the best place in the world. So how do you manage that? Well, you reduce your contract risk. So maybe you reduce it to 1, maybe if you're trading 5, maybe you reduce it to 2, whatever the case may be. But your target would be right there. So, or whatever your 1-to-1 is. So if we were trailing this thing, right, we got in here and it goes up to our 1-to-1, we take one off and then just let the other one run. When you take that one off, then you move to break even and let it run. And that's where that trending program that Mike, you were talking about, how it can trail and follow those trends. It's pretty cool stuff, really.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, so if anybody doesn't understand really what a trail does for you, is if you're to take that trade, there's what's called all in, all out. And that's what you normally would see if you're just manually executing. Okay. Unless you know kind of what you're doing, which is another more advanced way of trading. But if you get into that trade on multiple contracts, okay, what you can do is get in on, let's just say that we get in on 3 contracts, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have it execute. We're going to go long, on all 3 at a certain point. Now, once we get filled and we get into the market, it's going to, as long as it's moving in our direction, we'll start making money. Okay. Now, what we can do is if we think that it's going to get to a certain point and then maybe kind of bounce back and forth a little bit, but then it's going to continue to go higher. Okay. We want to lock in a certain amount of profit. What we can do, and this is what Randall's showing you right here, is once we get into the trade, we're going to have our protective stop there. And then we're going to have our first target, which would be, say, 2 of those contracts, okay, or a certain amount of those contracts. One you can do if you would want, okay. And then if the market comes up and it hits that point, it'll automatically take you out of that contract, okay. And if the market keeps running and going in your direction, what you want to do is you want to lock in profit. You don't want to wait for it to come all the way back down. You want it to move in your direction. And if it does come back down at all it does is automatically take you out if it moves against you. So you can do what's called a 1-bar trail, which is one of those black bars right there, or you can do a 2-bar trail. There's a couple different types of trails that you can do. But what that does is it literally locks in profit for you. And the second that it hits your last target price, it'll automatically pull you out on that. So all the way up, think about it like a ladder. Every time you moved up steps, it locked in profit for you. You're in a guaranteed winning trade at that point on multiple contracts. Go ahead and explain what you kind of just put into the screen there.
Yeah, so this would be the order that would bring us into the trade. And we would pull it down to the appropriate location. So if we were going in the NASDAQ 1 point above the high of that particular bar, that order would have been resting there and it would have brought us in the trade. So then what I do, depending on what my risk was on that particular trade, let's say that we were risking 8 points. And on that, what's the size of that swing bar? Let me take a look real quick. Actually talk it through. So the size of that swing bar is 6. So I'm risking 9. So I'm looking for 9 points from my point of entry. So I'm going to get in at 79.5, and 9 points from that point is where I would pull down this order to get out with 2 contracts. And then once that happened, I'm moving these stops up. So this is a protective stop that I was using. You'll notice I have 3 contracts on it because I started out with 3. All right. As soon as I take 2 of them off, I don't even need this one. I put that one on there. I don't need it. So I take 2 of them off. Now I'm just going to trail this stop, a 1 bar stop, as it moves in my direction. So I'm guaranteed a free trade. That's what that means when you're trailing. Okay. So
Safety net.
a safety net, exactly. Versus all in, all out, which you make your 1-to-1 and you're done. So in that case, if I were doing an all in, all out, we were risking 9 points. I got to 9 points, boom, I'm out with however many contracts I'm trading with.
Exactly. And that's right. As of right now, the edge trader only does all in, all out.
That's it.
And it'll continuously do so. Whereas if you use the
Pit Viper, right, you can manually adjust them accordingly.
Exactly. It'll do the best of both worlds, right?
Yep.
So, and again, you still got to know what you're doing, right? You still got to know when to have that thing on. Okay.
Yeah. And when not to. Right.
And when not to. Raymond, what do you think about us being at all-time highs?
Dude,
what's just your personal thought about it?
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. We can't sustain that. This is unsustainable at this level.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I literally was thinking about it today before the podcast. I was like,
how are we doing this, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think what may be happening is that the traders are, as the talking heads say, baking in a price based upon rate cuts. What happens if those rate cuts don't happen?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to tank. The market's going to tank. And a lot of retail traders are looking at this and say, oh, it's going to go higher. It's going to go higher. There's going to be a point in time where there's going to be a reckoning. Now, when that reckoning happens, you just got to be prepared. Now, we've got another guy, Todd Bubba Horowitz, who has got a great hedging program. So if there's anybody listening to this and you have some other investments, you're wanting to learn how to trade and you're trading, but you have some other investments that you want to protect, his hedging program is unbelievably good.
It's phenomenal.
And it really is. And it's not.
Me and you both joined it.
Yeah. So you can position your assets in a way that you're protected whichever direction it goes. So it's just an absolute phenomenal way to protect your investments, and you should look into it if you haven't. It's just,
and the farming one that we have, which I think is just a super cool concept. It's so cool that they can have that. I mean, if you're a farmer and you know how to do this stuff, number one,
you can hedge your crops.
You can hedge your crops. Exactly. I mean, that is actual legal insider trading. If you do it right, if you know how to do it right, it's your own crops, right? You got to learn how to do it. Right. If you know how to do it and you know how to hedge those,
not only you're going to make money on the crops themselves, or if the crops have a bumper crop and you're not going to make a lot of money from your crops, you can make it from your protection that you put in place. You're buying yourself insurance, so to speak.
And who's gonna know that before you? No one.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
So learn how to capitalize on that and protect yourself.
Yeah.
I will leave a link. I do too. It's super cool, man. You know, even the whole time I've been in the financial world, I never got into options. It was
Oh,
pretty
I
over
did.
my head.
Oh, I
And
did. Yeah. And it
see, and
was, it's tough.
it is. It can be super confusing, but it can also
But
be pretty straightforward also. And if you even have a genuine understanding of how the markets move, there's a lot of opportunity in it.
yeah, what Bubba teaches us how to do with this stuff,
Yeah.
it's a combination, and you buy puts and sell calls, and you offset your potential losses, and you know what you can make on a trade, and he teaches you how to roll your positions in options. It's just absolutely amazing. I failed terribly at options early on, gave them up entirely, and got involved totally in futures. Now I'm getting back into looking and doing some option trading based upon this information that Bubba puts out. I mean, the guy is incredible. I mean, he really, really is. And he cares about the student, just like we do at TTA. He is part of TTA, right?
He is.
He
Yeah.
has the same
It's a great
concept that
fit
we
for
do.
it.
Oh, it's been
Yeah,
a fabulous
exactly.
fit. Fabulous.
Yeah, it really, really is. Got to give it up to Zanetti and the team, you know, Pat and everybody for putting that whole thing together, because he is such a fantastic fit, and he truly does care. That's the biggest thing. I think one of the biggest things about Target Trading Academy and us is we truly care about every single one of our students and about their accounts, right?
Right.
You know, it matters to us if you guys aren't seeing the types of returns that you want to, and or if you don't know how to do something, we're gonna take the time to jump in and teach you how to do it.
If
and
you
Bubba
don't
does
do
too.
it, it's your own fault.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, yeah, we can take you can lead a horse to the water trough to drink, but you can't make him drink.
That's right.
You know, speaking of students and getting them to the trough, here's a new student. Look at this.
Yeah, brand new student. Just came over a week ago.
This is trade number 6. Okay. This is a fabulous trade. Why is it such a great trade? Well, the market moved up, stopped going up. Where did it stop going up? Isn't that amazing? Almost touched that edge. Bounced off of it. Came back through. This time it traded through, went far enough into the high volume area. So this would be the target based upon the size of your swing bar down here. Now you'll notice he's using 2 contracts, just as we teach students to do. So he got in correctly. He used that bar as his swing bar. He got in correctly. He got his 1-to-1. He got out. The only thing that he failed to do when he took the screenshot is he left this order on the screen. You do not want to leave an order like that on the screen. Why?
I think that I looked at that when he sent it in. And you tell me your thoughts on it, but I think he's done that a couple of times. I think he's showing you where he had to stop.
And that's fine. He could have been doing that. But I don't need to see that. I'm going to trust this student that they're doing it right. But he did show where it was. That is true. And it's exactly where it should be in this particular commodity. This is gold that he traded. And, that was 2 contracts and his P&L. And we insist that students show this P&L, because you can lie all day long. Right? And
who's it hurting?
Hurting him. But it's not hurting him because he's doing it right. So this was
the people that lie about it and don't send in their losing trades, and they only send in their winning trades. They're only hurting themselves, because they may not want to hear it, but that's exactly what you guys are there for, right?
That's it.
Is to tell them what they're doing wrong and teach them
what they're doing right. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So on this one, all right. So I'd already on the in this screenshot, I'd already reviewed that particular trade. Fabulous trade. Got the 1-to-1, got out, Then he did it again. Okay. So this is what we tell students to do when they first start learning this method. Take it every single time that you see it there. Okay. Why? Because you have to get used to putting these reps in, measuring the size of your swing bar, measuring to where you're going to get in on this trade, where your 1-to-1 is, where you need to get out on the trade. You need to do that. Now, once you get past 20 or so trades and you are seeing the reversals properly, then you want to start qualifying your trades better. Maybe you wouldn't have taken this one. You've already made some money on this particular trade. Why risk that and take it again? You don't have to. That's part of the money management that we teach you once you learn how to take reversals. This is a building block type of foundation. You get a strong foundation and then you build upon that with that additional information.
You gotta learn how to keep it now.
That's right.
A lot of people learn very quickly in this way of trading that it's a lot easier to make the money than it is to keep the money.
Oh my God, is it ever? So here's another one that he took, okay? And he's up to $1,500, almost $1,600 with 4 different trades that he made. Now this one, he got in correctly. Looks like he may have gotten out early on this one, but that's okay. It was nice work. Nicely done, right?
Yeah.
Oil. So that's 4.
Not bad. Not a bad day.
Not a bad day.
Right?
Right. Not a bad day at all. Now, do they all look like that? No.
No.
Let me see if I can pull up one.
I mean, every now and then, everybody knows, right?
Yeah, you're not going to win them all.
It doesn't have to necessarily be even every now and then. A lot of people really only see that, you know. But
so here's an example.
This part is going to happen.
Right. Here's an example. It's exactly right, dude. So here's an example of a student taking a trade way too early. There was not a valid move up into this area and then a retracement back down and going back to this edge, because all of your highs during the day are going to be challenged. All of the lows are going to be challenged. And that's what we're looking for when we bounce off of these HVA edges. So for this to have been a valid trade, it would have had to look like this. Gone up, stopped going up, give you a target for room to run from a swing bar and your entry bar, and giving you your 1-to-1. So this is the type of stuff that we give you guys. I don't know if anybody else in the industry is doing this to this extent.
No way.
So
not that I know of.
Right.
And plus, nobody else is going to take the time to explain it. Not that I know of. Right?
No, and it takes some time to do that. It really does.
It does.
But
man. It does. God bless you for taking all the time to write out all of those emails to everybody, buddy. I mean, that's. Tell you what, it's imperative. It really is. It's imperative for them to truly pick it up in a quicker way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We didn't have this when I first started back in 2010, 2011.
Nothing even close to it.
No. But
man, this has been fun.
I could go on.
I gotta run.
I could go on.
I know. So could I. As always.
The time just flies by, man. Just flies.
I know. I think. Now that we've been talking about him quite a bit, I would love to get Bubba on here. I'm gonna reach out to him. You guys let us know in the comments if you guys want to hear from Bubba about some options side of things and what Target Trading Academy is up to over there.
It'd be awesome.
And helping you out with some of your longer term trades and gains and actual investing rather than just these quick trades. Right.
It's a big difference. If you don't know the difference, investing and trading, 2 entirely different things, folks.
Yes, completely different. If you ever even talk to me on the phone, which a lot of people do on a daily basis. That's the first thing that I'm going to explain is, there's a big difference in between trading and investing. And it just really comes down to, your time. How much time do you have that you want to designate into putting this, and your overall capital investment? How much money do you want to put into it? Right. And we can break all of that stuff down, and that's what we're happy to kind of break down the differences in between the two different styles, because they are completely different, like you said. And I think that would be a great thing to have. So I'll reach out to Bubba, but everybody else in the comment section, please let us know if that's something that you would like to see. Also, if you can, please hit the like and subscribe button. It certainly helps us all the way around. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Life and Leverage podcast.
Adios.
See you later, everybody. Have a great one.